We're among friends here, right? Well, we are here tonight to celebrate National Student Athlete Day. National Student Athlete Day was created in 1987 and recognizes the outstanding achievements off the field by student athletes and supports the positive virtues of intercollegiate athletics. The ones responsible for making tonight special is our own Student Athlete Advisory Board's Executive Board, the E-Board, and I will introduce them in just a moment. But first, I must introduce to you Assistant Athletics Director Lisa Leota, who oversees our Lake Erie College SAC. She has done an outstanding job for us. Please give her a warm round of applause. You know, like the Wizard of Oz, the brains behind the curtain. Thank you, Lisa. The SAC E-Board officers are as follows. I hope everyone's here, but if you're in attendance, please stand up and be recognized. Our president is Allie Hemming. Vice President, Ricky Galante. Secretary, Krista O'Connor. Treasurer, Sammy Smith. Community Service Chair, Colleen Bednar. And the newest member, our National SAC Rep for the GLIAC, Jared Merritt. Thank you very much. Lake Erie College has over 500 student athletes who competed in 23 varsity sports during the 2011-2012 academic year. It's another record for Lake Erie College athletics. Lake Erie College has tonight we will recognize over 220 outstanding student athletes for their academic and athletic achievements. Our featured speaker for tonight is Mr. Andre Thornton. You will hear more about him in just a little bit, but for now I would ask all of you to pay close attention to the message he will be sending out to each and every one of you tonight. His story, his life, his message is one of significance, and I know that he will inspire you to see how you can overcome the obstacles you may encounter in your life and not only persevere, but succeed. Before we start the program, please enjoy the video.
celebrate you, our Lake Erie College student athletes, for the hard work you've dedicated to your sport, the effort you make to succeed academically, and the overall impact you have on our campus and surrounding community. I have the privilege tonight of honoring specifically our student athletes who have achieved various outstanding academic accomplishments this year. These individuals are being listed by name on the screen behind me. The first awards I'll be presenting are for conference recognition. Each season, the LEAC celebrates student athletes throughout the conference for their academic achievements. In January, we recognized 40 of our fall athletes for their outstanding work in the classroom. Tonight, we're honoring our winter sports student athletes. 22 individuals representing each of our winter sports, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's swimming, and wrestling, have earned LEAC All-Academic and Academic Excellence Team recognition. The LEAC All-Academic teams are comprised of athletes in at least their second year of enrollment who have achieved a cumulative GPA of a 3.0 to a 3.49. Likewise, the Academic Excellence Team honors are awarded to those athletes in at least their second year of enrollment who have maintained an impressive cumulative GPA of a 3.5 to a 4.0. Additional kudos goes to the women's basketball team. Not only did the team earn their place in the LEAC tournament this year, but 11 of the 16 squad members were recognized with LEAC academic honors, with 9 of them being recognized with the highest honor of academic excellence, having a 3.5 to 4.0. Congratulations to the women's basketball team. Finally, on behalf of the college and the entire Department of Athletics, I am very proud to announce that 208 Lake Erie College student athletes have received national recognition from the National Consortium for Academics and Sports for achieving a 3.0 or greater. We are extremely proud not only of these impressive accolades, but of the well-rounded individuals we know you have and will continue to become as a result of the challenges and adversity you face, the lessons you learn, and the qualities you develop from balancing life as a scholar student athlete. At this time, would all the student athletes who have achieved a cumulative 3.0 GPA and above please stand and let's recognize them with a round of applause.
You know who you are.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Hugenboom. I'm the wrestling coach here at Lake Erie College. Each year, the National Wrestling Coaches Association has the honor to award first, second, and honorable mention all academic teams. To qualify for this award, you must have been at the institution for a year, maintained a 3.0 cumulative GPA, and also been a starter or a prominent backup with at least a 500 record. So it includes both academics and performance on the mat. This year we're very proud to recognize 4 of our members that have achieved second team and honorable mention team. First off is Justin Toth, NCAA Division II honorable mention Also receiving honorable mention for the NCAA Division II All-Academic Wrestling Team is Jared Merritt. We also had 2 individuals who have excelled this year on the mat and have also done it in the classroom. Both of these guys have over a 3.5 cumulative GPA and were both our scholar athletes for the year. For the NCAA, they were awarded second team, all academic, Zev Green and Tyler Pesic.
evening, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jason Serrata, and I'm the Assistant Athletic Director for External Operations. And as of a week ago tonight, proud new daddy. And here to present the COSIDA Capital One Academic All-District First Team Awards. The COSIDA Academic All-American Program was started in 1988. It selects teams in 12 sports programs, recognizing the top student athletes in their fields and their respective sports. There's a set criteria that needs to be made of a minimum grade point average and minimum participation. So therefore, the award is not just strictly a sports-related award, and it's not strictly an academic award, but combines the two in a prominent fashion and is regarded as a premier academic and athletic award in the country. Since I came to Lake Erie 3 years ago, we've had 9 student athletes selected as first or second team all-district selections. And I've had the honor and privilege of being a member of the National All-American Selection Committee for the last 11 years. This is the first time in my involvement in the program that I personally had 3 student athletes from my institution be selected to be on a team together for the first time. So it's really a cool accomplishment to have 3 student athletes all selected first team. And that came from the women's basketball team, Stephanie Rogers, Britt Busen, and Alyssa Wakers. Next up, Coach McCallum.
Lake Erie College is proud to be members of the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. We feel like it is the best of those prestigious conference in the nation. At the same time, we are also members of the ECAC. The East Coast Athletic Conference is a secondary conference made up of almost 300 institutions competing in athletics at the Division I, II, and Division III level. The mission of the ECAC is to initiate, stimulate, and improve intercollegiate athletic programs for student athletes and to promote and develop educational leadership, athletic excellence, and athletic participation. In addition to the GLIAC, the ECAC also has members from the Northeast 10, the PSAC, East Coast Conference, the West Virginia Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association, and Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference. Needless to say, award winners in the ECAC have been selected from an outstanding group of schools. This year, we were fortunate to have 3 football players selected to the 2012 or 2011 ECAC All-Star team. Those 3 athletes are senior quarterback Sean Bedabelski, senior offensive lineman Mike Gritz, and senior wide receiver Brandon James.
For those of you who do not know me, my name is Ricky Villani, and I am the Vice President of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. I am here tonight to present to you a very special guest. Once a member of the Chicago Cubs, Montreal Expos, and our beloved Cleveland Indians, this man has had a storied career between the lines illustrated by the many awards bestowed upon him for his accomplishments. Selected twice to represent the American League in the All-Star Game, he went on to hit 253 home runs, earning him the nickname Thunder, tying him with 2 other Indian greats, Larry Doby and Joe Gordon, for 192nd all-time since the game's onset in 1868. 1979, he was the recipient of the Roberto Clemente Award, a prestigious honor given to the player who best exemplifies the game of baseball, sportsmanship, community involvement, and the individual's contribution to his team. Joining a very select group of special and dedicated individuals that includes Willie Mays, Jim Thome, Albert Pujols, Howard Jr., and others, he did not stop his off-the-field contributions there and was recognized again in 1982 by receiving the Hutch Award, given annually to the player who best exemplifies the fighting spirit and competitive desire of Fred Hutchinson, who lost his fight with cancer shortly after the 1964 season. Other recipients include Mickey Mantle, Omar Vizquel, and Pete Rose. During his career, he was forced to overcome great adversity in several forms. In 1977, a car accident took the lives of his wife and daughter, while his son and himself survived. He went on to write a book titled Triumph Born of Tragedy, which accounts the accident and how he persevered through his faith. In 1980, he suffered a major knee injury that would require multiple surgeries to overcome. However, he again persevered, and in 1982 received the AL Comeback Player of the Year award for his 32 home run, 116 RBI season. For his career accomplishments, he was inducted into the Cleveland Indians Hall of Fame in 2007 with Charlie Nagy, Mike Garcia, and Jim Nagy Sr. I could go on, but enough about his tremendous playing days. This man is here tonight to speak to you about the importance of developing yourself as a student and becoming a more complete individual that can succeed on the field as well as off. A Capital University honors graduate, he's gone on to become the president and CEO of ASW Global, a supply chain management firm based out of Northeast Ohio. He has served on the boards of the Cleveland Council of World Affairs, the Cleveland Zoological Society, and First G of Cleveland Program, and is a graduate of Leadership Cleveland. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great honor to present to you Mr. Andre Thorne.
Ricky, thank you very much. It's indeed an honor for me to be here with you on this special evening, to see so many athletes. I can't remember the last time I heard of a college having 500 athletes and you only had 1,200 total students. I'm trying to figure out how you got all of these athletes to come in. But what an accomplishment for a small school. I certainly want to congratulate you on that. What I'd like to talk to you about tonight is really not around athletics. I certainly want to congratulate the winners here this evening for just an outstanding career, to wonderful things that they accomplished in their lives. But I want to challenge you here this evening about the things that I hope you become, and the accomplishments that I hope will come about in your life after you leave this university. So, with that in mind, here I am, 62 years of age. Some of you are wondering, did he ever play professional sports? I know I might not look quite like that athlete that I used to like years ago. But really, I stopped playing sports 25 years ago. If that was all that my life would entail, what would I be doing today? But today, we're one of the largest minority companies in the state of Ohio. We employ well over 160 to 170 people. We cross 8 states and we do business throughout the world. Every time you buy something from Sam's Club, it comes through our organization. Those things didn't happen just because I wanted to be an athlete. And so tonight I'd like to talk to you about some of those things that have been important to me, but hopefully that I can some way impart to you that might leave something that would be an encouragement to you, to not only make the days that you are experiencing now, days that you hold dear, but I want to try to give you something to look for outside of this, because the impact of your life is not going to be made on the athletic field. Really, the impact of your life is going to be made off of. And So when I asked my sons, what do you think they want to hear? When you were sitting out there, student athletes, and all of them were collegiate athletes, and now they're finished school and they're all grown. I said, what do you think these young people want to hear? And I asked my oldest son, and he's 39 now and lives in Chicago, and he said, well, make it practical for me. I said, okay. I asked my middle son, I said, well, what do you think I should say to him? And he said to me, well, Dad, you know, make it purposeful. Make it something that they can take away. And I asked my youngest son, who is 28 now, went to Muskingum College down in southern Ohio, and he was a track guy, so he said, whatever you say, make it short. So I'm going to try to, in my best way, to be able not only to impact you with something that will be important to you, but I hope to be able to do it in the time limit that Ricky has given me. With those pointed suggestions and the official charge that I have been given to you this evening, not only do I want to challenge you on being and building the best person that you can be by expanding your breadth in terms of your accomplishments here, but I want to encourage you to develop into a more complete person. Because at the end of the day, people don't remember Andre Thorne because he was an athlete. They remember the name. They remember that I played for the Indians. But more than likely, they will remember me because they say he was a good guy or he was something else. But they're not going to remember me as an athlete. So I'm sure the reason that Ricky and his team asked me to be here with you this evening is not because I was such a great athlete, but because they thought that I had something else to bring to you this evening. Let me share some things with you that are important to me when I see young people coming into our organization and they're looking for a career and things that they want to do. And they have these visions and ideas of accomplishments. These are some of the things that I want them to remember. We live in a world where information and ideas are moving faster than we could possibly think. Social networks are arriving with every touch of our PDA, where non-vetted decisions are made in an instant, sometimes without knowing the full impact of those circumstances. Where worldviews are colliding every 20 and 40 minutes on the hour, and we see the scroll on CNN. Where corruption and moral breakdown among our politicians, our civic leaders, our business leaders have left us with a giant dose of skepticism and mistrust. We have witnessed the live video feeds of broken dreams and devastated lives of professional and collegiate coaches who have self-destructed with illicit affairs, fraud, deception, and numerous other violations. Throughout the centuries, there have been men and women who took first steps down new roads, armed with nothing but a vision and a goal to make a positive impact upon the lives of others. As leaders, not only here at this university, but hopefully leaders that you aspire to be one day, I want you to think about exhibiting a personal and professional growth both in and out of your respective sports. Don't aspire to have them remember you for the accomplishments necessarily on the field, but have them remember you because there's something about you that attracts them to you. When I think about the recipients that will be awarded here tonight, they've demonstrated a desire on this campus and in their community to make an impact. They have shown dedication and promise in developing into wonderful young men and women that represent their school and their families well. You have dreams and aspirations that go far beyond the status quo. And I hope those dreams lead you to want to make a powerful difference in this world. Because that's the opportunity in which is set before you. You have a wonderful opportunity to impact the lives of other people in ways that you never think that you could. And there's nobody on a campus that has greater opportunity to impact the lives of others than the athletes that perform for that university. You have the greatest opportunity to do that. For me, the ability to define leadership is the ability to define who you are and what you want to be. This is the quest to know not only what you want that outcome to be, but what kind of impact you want to make in the life of others that you run across. There's a masterpiece in the Boston Museum of Fine Arts painted by the great French artist Paul Gauguin. It says this: "D'où venons-nous? Qui sommes-nous? Où allons-nous?" Where do we come from? Who are we? And where are we going? Leadership is encouraging and empowering others to travel an amazing journey. It's recognizing potential, both your own and others, and directing that potential toward a shared endeavor or outcome. As I reflect on my own journey, I identify 3 principles that describe my personal experience. Live with a purpose. Apply what you've learned. And lead to make a difference. Don Soderquist, who was the co-chair of Walmart and who's been a longtime friend, wrote a book, Live, Learn, and Lead. I wish I had it here to give out to each one of them. It's an excellent book for young people like yourself to take hold of. Because we all need nuggets to hold on to as we kind of traverse through this thing called life. To live, to learn, and to lead. Leadership is encouraging and empowering others. As I reflect on my journey, these 3 principles form a type of check and balance in my daily life. And being true to them is a commitment. They require being different. They require standing your own ground. They require taking the high road, as well as questioning yourself and your willingness to learn. Let us examine what these 3 things are and what they meant to me. 1, live with a purpose. For those of us who grew up in the 60s, there was so much happening in our society that it made you question everything. I can remember growing up reading stories of people jumping out of buildings, thinking that they could fly. The turmoil and frustration and confusion that was going on during that period, the Vietnam War, all the racial tension that was going on in this country at that time. The civil discourse was a real event in our neighborhoods. It wasn't something that we could distance ourselves from. It was real. It touched every one of our lives. And everything was being challenged. I can remember my mother saying to me, "I can't answer all of your questions, but I can direct you to the one who can." There was a biblical passage in Philippians chapter 3, verse 12, that expresses my best feeling of this lifelong journey that started over 45 years ago. I'm not saying to you that I'm perfect. I haven't learned all I should even yet. But I will keep working toward that day when I finally be all that Christ saved me to be. That's been a mantra throughout my life. Successful leaders who inspire me personally have a spiritual core, a moral compass that not only drives their personal and professional life, but it inspires them to be of service in their community and in their society. A genuine sense of social responsibility does not come from a corporate mandate or an institutional policy. Leadership relies on a true inner core that recognizes blessings and are ready to share those blessings with others. These are the opportunities that you have. The inspiration in the morning and the comfort and joy at the end of the day doesn't come from the achievements that I made on a baseball diamond. But when I see a life that has been impacted by something that I've done or said that has made that person a better person, or to help them achieve their goal, or to help them to do something that they never thought that they could do, then I feel as though I've accomplished something. The author, Roy Lessin, says, just think, you're not here by chance, but by God's choosing. His hand formed you and made you the person that you are. He compares you to no one else. You are one of a kind. You lack nothing that His grace can't give you. He has allowed you to be here at a time in history to fulfill a special purpose. You are God's servant in God's place at God's perfect time. Secondly, apply what you learn. Honest assessment equates to having a strong belief system that leads to applied learning. It is the ability to accept external input, process it, and decide when to accept or reject the assessment as the basis for your own belief system. Perhaps for some of you, it's easier for me to equate this to a baseball career example. I have had the wonderful privilege of having external stimuli that most of you probably will never have. I've been booed by 80,000 people in a stadium. That's not a good feeling. I've been called a bum. I've been called a whole lot of things. But I've also been cheered by 80,000 people. But that's not where I get my worth from. That's not what makes Andre Thornton. If that was what I held as being important to me, then I would go up and down like a yo-yo. If that's what I based my work on, it would not be based on anything real. There's nothing more fickle than a fan cheering you one day and booing you the next. But I got off the phone this afternoon with a man that was in our spring training facility 30 years ago. He's an older gentleman today. He just had back surgery and he's not doing very well. And he called me up and said, Andre, I just need to talk to someone. I'm not having a good day. I can remember a young player that we had who was the #1 draft choice by another team, got traded over to Cleveland. We were in Anaheim, California. My wife and I are in our hotel room. I get a knock on the door at 6 o'clock in the morning. We just arrived at 5 o'clock that morning. And this young player said to me, "Andre, can I talk to you? Because there's nobody else that I trust." He said, "My wife is leaving me, my arm is bad, and I want to blow my brains out." But you know, when I think about that moment, he said, "Andre, I have no one else I can trust. I need to talk to someone." Are you going to be that kind of person that you would attract someone that can look around this room and say, "I have nowhere else to go. Can I come talk to you?" That's the kind of person that I want you to be. I know integrity means more than popularity. I know when the unpopular decision is still the right course of action. I know when I have erred in making an easy decision rather than the most appropriate one. And anybody in leadership battles with that every single day. Recently, I stepped down from the board of an organization here in Cleveland that I admire very much. But they made a decision about where they wanted to go that I personally could not reconcile with my own belief system. And I had to step down. Are you ready to stand up for what you believe? Are you ready to apply those things that you learn, not just in theory, but in the reality of your everyday life? Because those are the decisions that you need to understand. I want to make. And I want to make them in a way that is consistent with who I am. Thirdly, lead to make a difference. I have established a mission statement for my life. It acts as guide rails for me. It helps to keep me on track and hold me accountable. We have a mission statement for our company. This university has a mission statement. That mission statement is there to remind you what you are trying to do so that you don't get off track to the left and to the right. My mission statement is found in Colossians 1:10. I want to live a life worthy of the Lord and please Him in every way. That's my mission statement. That's the rails that guide me every day. Because when I have to make a decision about the life of one of our employees, for those of you that are in this room that understand that, when I have to make that decision, that's not an easy decision. It's the toughest decision for an owner of a company or the CEO or the leader of an organization, is to look somebody in the eye and tell them, "I can't use you anymore. You don't fit where we're trying to go." And if my rails are not in place, how easy it is for me to get off track. Last year, I served as the ambassador to the President of Kent State. I had an opportunity to meet with their faculty, their athletes, their coaches. I can remember speaking to their coaches, all of their coaches, one day. They had just brought in a new coach from Ohio State. very successful in their programs. My talk to them was around the fact that live out your values. The very things that I just mentioned to you earlier about what's happening in the lives of our collegiate coaches, the pressures that they are facing, some of the decisions that they have to make. It was not 30 days later the Ohio State scandal broke out. And from then, we have seen a number of additional type of breakdowns in this kind of environment. We cannot think that we would not be affected by the circumstances that surround us, because those pressures are pulling on us from every side. And you as young people are feeling it. I want you to live to make a difference. The late coach, John Wooden, this is what he said. He said, be more concerned with your character than your reputation. Because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think of you. Now listen to that again. Be more concerned with your character than your reputation. Because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think. It took me a while to kind of run that through the system to make sure I understood what he was saying. Because my reputation can be great. You don't know me. You read a lot of things about me. And you might say, well, wow, he's a great guy. But you know, your character is what you have to live with. When I go home and look in that mirror, I want to be able to look at that guy and like him. And those are the things that I want you to think about. Your belief system dictates your behavior. Don't let anybody tell you that it doesn't. If I don't believe in anything, I will do anything. And I can give you countless stories, both personal as well as non-personal, of seeing people every single day at every level, whether they're rich, whether they're famous, whether they're athletes or non-athletes. I've been with all of them. And I've seen a whole bunch of them fall short because they did not have a belief system that they could hold on to. And that when the wind started blowing, that they could hold firm instead of being vacillating to the left or to the right. And so I congratulate all three of you for the things that I have heard about you. And I hope that your reputation and your character mesh. And that's what I want you to think about. Is what people think of me doesn't really jive with who I am. Because you have a chance to do some extraordinary things, each and every one of them. And so I close and leave you with these things. What do you want your life to be? Ruben Onu, Keith Sumner, Cool Allen. Who do you want to be? What's important to you? What kind of person are you going to be? And what sort of impact are you going to leave not only at this university, but in the steps that you will take away from it? I'm rooting for your success. I wish you all the best. Because you see, I'm on the other side of that order. You're just starting out. Aspire to be something great. Not just get through. Aspire to make a difference. Not just to be a part of it. You have that opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to be with you this evening. That's up to you. I guess we have a short time that we can ask questions. I'll be happy to answer whatever you have. Who's going to step up first? Yes.
What are some of the most important lessons that you learned on the field to translate to off the field?
One of the most important lessons that I learned on the field that translates to off the field. Well, generally, you don't learn anything in competition that you have not at least thought about before you went into that competition. In other words, let me give you an example. If I didn't know where I needed to be at certain times and places on the field, it wasn't going to come by osmosis when that happened. And that's why coaches train and you go over and over and over circumstances. So that when you get in that position, you don't have to guess what I'm going to do. And that's exactly what we're talking about here tonight. I don't want you to guess about whether you're going to make the right decision. You have to think about, I want to make the right decision before I get in that situation. Otherwise, when you get there, too many things will cause you to divert away from doing what is right. I had so many guys tell me that they would not get in trouble with infidelity. You tell yourself that, you're lying. Because the next day you're going to see a woman pretty enough that will want to cause you to leave. So you better tell yourself that that's not part of my DNA. Otherwise, when you get in that situation, temptation has a tendency to drag us the wrong way. And I guarantee you that Rick Pitino or Petrino is saying that today. Okay. That's the kind of devastation that not knowing what decision you want to make before you get in that situation. So it's not so much what I've learned on the field, but what I've learned on the field is that it validates what I've learned off the field. Yes. Anybody else? Yes.
How has your mission statement changed since you
That's a great question. I was in an Army barracks in Fort Dix, New Jersey with the Pennsylvania National Guard back in 1967. And I was there, of course, because the Vietnam War was on. And we got drafted at that time. That was maybe somebody here remembers those days, but my draft number was coming up. And the Philadelphia Phillies said, well, we have to get you into the National Guard. Well, it was in an Army barracks in Fort Dix, New Jersey, where I said, Lord, I want you to make my life into something I want to be someone that would be pleasing to you. It started 45 years ago in that Army barracks. I've been challenged and I've grown and I've matured, but it's been the same mission statement. I want to live a life that's pleasing to you. Good question. A couple more and then I'm going to close. Yes.
Outside of sports, who is an influential person in your life?
The most influential person to me in the city of Cleveland was a gentleman by the name of Gordon Heffernan. Gordon was the CEO of Society Bank when I got here, and later on Key Bank. Gordon heard me speak somewhere in Cleveland, and he came up to me after it was over, and we became friends. And for years, I spoke to all of the Key Bank executives over the years, but we became friends and developed a relationship. But what he challenged me to is, Andre, I want you to stay in Northeast Ohio. And I want you to have an impact upon our community. Whether that's in business or whether that's in something else, but I want you to stay here. And we accomplished some pretty wonderful things working together over that 30-plus year time. But he was probably the most influential person that I've known here in Northeast Ohio. Because he challenged me at a time where I needed to be challenged. And so what was important to me? Going to retire in Florida and enjoy the rest of my life, or are you going to make an impact upon the community in which you live? And that's what he challenged me. Last question. Somebody has a question, yes.
How about, we talked about beliefs and belief system as a coach. We talk about having a strong mentality, using your mind to help condition your body and push yourself further. Have you found that to be true in becoming a professional athlete and now obviously running a company, believing in your thoughts, you've obviously said, but having that strong mentality to overcome things when time gets tough?
Well, what I've learned, Coach, is that discipline and training is the best way to bring about that strong mentality. You may be born with a strong sense of will, but you have to train and discipline the mind for the circumstances that you're going to face. And whether you're in the military, whether you're in anything out there where you are competing, you're going to run into barriers that are going to challenge you. And if you don't have the discipline to know that your training, your talent, all that you've gone through is helping prepare you to get over those barriers and to endure those barriers. Because those barriers are like big monsters. You know, they're a lot bigger and scarier than they really are at times. Now I run today, and after the first mile, my mind is telling me, why in the world are you running? You don't have to run. Walk. You got bad knees or whatever it is. But immediately, you have to know that I have to get across that barrier. Because if I stop there, then I'll never get across it. And so training and discipline, that's why you hit the mat every day. That's why you work on the moves every day. That's why you work through pain. That's why you work through because when you get to those points in a match, you're going to have to know that I have the confidence that what I've done to prepare myself for this will allow me to get past it. Okay. And that's what trains the mind. And it's no different than whether it's athletics or it's something else. If you train the mind with garbage, you will respond to garbage. Okay, and if you let the mind kind of teeter, you will find yourself vacillating left and right. And so that's why training up your mind in the way that you want to go, so that when you get to those circumstances, you don't deviate. So that's what I would say in relationship to that. You have to train the mind for discipline. Well, thank you very much. I do have one additional responsibility here this evening. We have 3 award winners here tonight that have demonstrated some of these qualities that we've talked about. That they have grown and expanded themselves while they've been here at school, both inside the athletic arena as well as off campus in some of the activities that they've been involved in. Some of them have taken on some pretty difficult challenges. And I'm sure that they have impacted their lives in a very special way. So I would like to call up right now Bridget Berry, Liz Stevens, and Haley Rathage. This is to Elizabeth. Congratulations. Okay. This is to Haley. Congratulations. And I know you received your award earlier, but this is to make sure that everybody recognizes what you've accomplished. Okay, congratulations.
Andre, I can't thank you enough for coming here tonight and spending time with us. Really appreciate it. How about one more round of applause? I introduced the e-board earlier, and as Andre spoke of what's important in his life and what he has done through his life, what he has overcome, what he has pretty much developed his character. And as he stated, if you had the opportunity to get to know him over time, you would understand exactly what he was saying about reputation and character, and how important it is to get to know someone so you can really make that judgment call. With our e-board, that's what they've done for you. They've been the leaders on this campus through the Student Athlete Advisory Board. Jared, gaining that recognition, sorry, I wasn't trying to call you out there. Got to snap his neck there. That's a high honor for him, for the wrestling program, for this department, for this college, for the GLIAC. And that is just the beginning. That's just a small part. It's a great part, but it's a small part of what they do. The Stormtrooper t-shirts that you guys have enjoyed this year, and I'm sure something like that, or the exact thing is going to continue on for years to come. The pep rallies. Allie, I got to tell you, you did a great job with those pep rallies. Next year, I get a pie around McDermott in the face. Oh, yeah? I can dream, can I? How about Michael? Meeting up on the car out back. That was a lot of fun. I don't know if it was more fun seeing the football players and everyone get involved and smashing up the car, or what happened when most of the people left, and then the cops came back, and then the guy came across the street with the axe, showing us a different way of cutting it up. Pretty interesting. Sometimes you better stay to the bitter end. But the Soap for Hope, the breast cancer awareness, the Make-A-Wish, and this year the Make-A-Wish fundraiser generated over $1,000 out of 14 schools in the GLIAC. That's the second most that was generated, and that's because of our e-board. And And I urge you to be a part of the SAC, to be involved in the SAC, to be involved in these programs, and define what your character is. The last thing I want to go over is a few events coming up. Wednesday, May 2nd at 2 o'clock, baseball has a doubleheader against Ohio Dominican. It's their senior day. If you have time, you can make it out there, please do. Also on Wednesday, May 2nd, the men's lacrosse team is meeting against Seton Hill in the top 10 in men's lacrosse currently. And that's down in Wright Park as well. Thursday, track and field leads for the Gliacs. We want to wish them well. I know they'll do well. Thursday also at 5 p.m. is the Lake Erie College Triathlon. It's to see who's the best athlete on campus. Those interested can sign up at the front desk here at the Athletic Wellness Center or at the table in the lobby of the Holden Center. And then Saturday, May 5th at 9 a.m. is the women's lacrosse match. In a sweet way, right? But I want to thank you for all coming here tonight. I want to thank Ricky for doing a great job of putting this on. And for Ricky, please. Once again, I want to thank Andre Thornton for being here. I want to thank Lisa. We got to cue the fight song. That's the end of the program. Thanks for coming and go Lisa. Go Lisa. Rage on!
Richard.